Hey guys, how you doing? It's Art from Art's Model Trains. So today's just a quick video on one of the things I've observed in this hobby, which is the community, right? I think we talk about it a lot, but I don't know if there's ever been examples thrown out there. So I want to throw out an example of one of my experiences that has brought this kind of to life to me about how great this hobby is. I mean, obviously, there's all sorts of, you know, talk about, hey, we met this guy at this show and he was really cool. But this is one of the things I think is really cool about this hobby. So these two sets sitting behind me, there's a really great story behind them. And it's one of the things I think that I point to with my kids about why, trains are so important in our lives and how it can set a good example for people. So we were at, a couple years ago, we were at, my two sons and I were at a small train show in York. Wow, I got York on the mind. So a couple years ago, my two sons and I were at a small train show in Brick, New Jersey, and we're walking through the hall, just looking at things. It's a small train show, maybe 4 or 5 aisles of stuff. And a woman comes up to us and says, "Do you guys like trains? Do you want?" Obviously, we do. And do you want some free trains? And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And so she then proceeded to give us a box of trains, and the story was that they were downsizing. She was leaving her house, and her kids no longer wanted the trains. They found them in a box in the attic. She didn't have a use for them, thought we might enjoy them. I offered her money. She obviously wouldn't take that. And so we put the box of trains in our car and then went back into the show and kept doing our thing. And later that day, then we got home, we decided to unbox what we have. I knew there was, just from peeking in the box a little bit before I put it in the car, I saw at least one engine in there. I saw a steam engine. So when we got home, we opened up the box. There was a bunch of 027 tube track in there, some of which was in pretty bad shape, some of which I was able to kind of clean up and salvage. And that was great. And then there turned out to be 2 complete train sets in that box. So the first one up here is from 1948. This is a Lionel Scout set. This is a modified 242 locomotive. It has a metal tender, a gondola, a tank car, and a caboose. And this has the Scout couplers on it. So they are different. They actually refer to them in the catalog as railroad-like couplers that can be triggered using some sort of track or something like that. It was interesting. It's my first experience with Scout couplers, so I thought that was really cool. A really cool set. I believe some of the engine components and things like that are made out of plastic. This was like a low-end set for Lionel in 1948. Also included in there was this MPC era 1974 DT&I switcher set, which is actually, I believe, called a Yardmaster set. And I'm just looking at my notes here. This has a Pullmore motor. It had a flat car with logs. We don't have the flat car. We don't have the logs. It had a gondola with canisters. We don't have, where's the gondola? We don't have the gondola. We don't have the canisters for the gondola. The hopper, and then this is a flat car / caboose that I guess you could take the parts on and off. We obviously don't have the parts. So none of the accessories came with this, just the track and the locomotive and the cars. But what was really cool is, this is actually listed in the catalog as Lionel's first DC sets. There were 3 of them on the page, and I'll put the page up here so you guys can see it. And it's a really cool engine, really actually quiet runner and smooth. So I brought these downstairs with the boys. We threw them on the track. They worked right out of the box. So I did a kind of full maintenance on this switcher here. This one I actually haven't touched, the steam engine. But the full maintenance on this switcher, I added, some elements into it, tried to clean it up a little bit. It needs new traction tires. I'd have to buy those, but it really does run extremely well. Some of the parts are broken off. I think there was like a little wheel or something that's supposed to be up top here that's broken off, but it runs great. It's a great little engine. It's one of my son's favorites. And the cars are a little bit plastic and cheap, but we run them sometimes, and others. This engine will pull anything I throw behind it, which is great. The Scout set, we've run a few times, but really don't get a lot of use out of, just because of the Scout couplers. You really can't pair it with any other cars, so it hasn't gotten a lot of use. I have actually reached out to D.A. Griffin Hobby. I'm going to meet him at hopefully York this week and pass this set off to him. But that's the thing that I think is really cool about this hobby, right? Like, we had a woman who found these engines, or excuse me, these trains in her attic, and wanted to find somebody rather than throw them out. Wanted to find somebody who could enjoy them and make use of them. And we really enjoyed them. And now I'm going to pass it off to somebody else who's going to enjoy it and take care of it and do something with it. And that, to me, that kind of like community that we have in this hobby is really what I think makes this a really cool hobby to be in, along with all the other stuff that goes on. But like, I can't imagine other hobbies where somebody's like, hey, here's my free RC car that cost me $700 to build. Not going to happen, right? Like, this is more about like, hey, these are things that I felt special to me, and I have a meaning towards, and I need to pass it on to keep kind of the hobby going and keep kids and stuff involved, and give them something to do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was really cool. This is York week, so I'm actually heading out to York on Friday. So hopefully I'll get to see some people there. Please feel free to stop and say hello. And thanks for watching, guys. And please be sure to like and subscribe.